Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back. So, for this video, it's going to be spoiler, so in case you don't want to know anything, don't watch this video. But I wanted to do a spoiler review, because there's some things that are very interesting that I'd like to talk about. Things that you might have missed. I'm not going to go into I suppose the technical details, like the book, right, and how faithful it is to the book, and I'm not going to go too deep into history, because I'll be honest, I don't know everything about the book or the history behind it. My goal is to do this sort of review and analysis on the movie. Okay? So, of course, we're talking about Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, which came out this year. And I have watched it 2 times now in the theater. Okay? The first time I watched it, I saw it by myself. And the second time, I went with my girlfriend. And I wanted to watch it a second time because there are some things that I noticed I wanted to see again and to kind of analyze again, if that makes sense. So it's good news when I see a movie and it makes me think about it after it's finished, and it actually made me watch it again. So that's good news. Okay. So I wrote some things down that I want to talk about today. Obviously, I would not have memorized everything. Okay. But some little notes that I want to talk about. So first I want to talk about what surprised me the most about this movie. Right? I didn't watch all the trailers and I didn't know a lot about the movie when I walked in. I only watched one trailer, I suppose, and then I decided to go watch it. Okay? And see what it's like, and have a good time watching the movie. Right? So this movie, what surprised me the most, I would say, okay, is that it was a bit more emotional than I thought it was. Okay? I thought this was going to be like a pure war movie, but I am glad that there are parts in the movie where it shows emotion, right? And I'll show you some, images and whatnot when I'm talking about certain things here. But I was pleasantly surprised, and I did really like the fact that there were underlying themes about the movie, which I will get to. Okay? So, I wrote a question here saying, if I was the director of this movie, right, what would be the hardest part of adapting the story into a film, right? And I realized that the hardest parts would not be the CGI. It would not really be getting I suppose, the best of the best actors in the movie. It's because the movie is about Greek mythology, right? The hardest part would be to basically balance this between realism and myth, I suppose, right? That would be a difficult thing to do. I started to think if I was the director, right, this would be a pretty difficult movie to make. It would be very difficult to make this movie in a way where it makes everyone happy, right? Some people watch the movie just for the entertainment, the battles, right? The great cinematography. Some people watch it and they're very picky on if it's faithful to the book, right? So it's really hard to balance that. And I definitely do think that Christopher Nolan succeeded some parts of that. Okay. I really liked how he didn't really show any Greek gods, if you will. Okay. I like how you can feel the presence of the gods in the movie, but you can't really see them. You can't pinpoint them. So I really liked that. It's almost as if the gods are controlling the situation, the environment of the movie, right? Specifically around Odysseus. And I really like that, because in the movie they mention some Greek god names, right? Like Poseidon, although you do see Poseidon's son as the Cyclops in the movie. Okay. Which, by the way, before going to the movie, I didn't know about that. I learned about it as I was watching the movie, right? So let's see what else I wanted to talk about today. There are lots of things, but I'm going this basically step by step here. Okay? Before I go into some details of the movie, I want to compare it to other Nolan's films. Okay? So Christopher Nolan has made films like Interstellar, Dunkirk, right? Batman Begins, Dark Knight, Oppenheimer, Inception, Tenet. Okay, very popular movies. And I wanted to quickly compare this to them, okay? I would say that if we have Oppenheimer, right, which it doesn't matter if you have seen it or not, Oppenheimer is a pretty dialogue-heavy movie, right? There is some action in it. I'm not going to say there's absolutely no action, but it's very dialogue heavy, okay? And if I'm going to be honest, Oppenheimer was pretty slow pace, okay? But movies like Interstellar, Inception, Tenet even, these ones, sure, they could have a bit of a slow pacing at times, but those movies definitely have way more action, and it has plots in which, I don't know, to me it feels like it holds the viewer more, keeps them interested in watching the rest of the film. The Odyssey is almost like a mixture between Oppenheimer and one of Nolan's epic movies, like ones that have lots of action, right? If I were to make a little, I guess, not a joke, but like if I were to make some sort of a example, the Odyssey is almost like Dunkirk, the movie Dunkirk, and Oppenheimer had a baby. The movies. Okay? It has action in it, and there are also sort of dialogue-heavy parts. Okay? I've watched Oppenheimer, and in my honest opinion, the Odyssey has way better pacing than Oppenheimer's movie. Okay? I personally enjoyed the Odyssey more than Oppenheimer, but that's just me. You know, everyone's got different opinions, but you're watching this video because you probably just wanted my opinion for this, right? And this isn't set in stone. This is just my personal opinion. Okay? So, let's talk about the characters a little bit in this movie, okay? We have lots of popular characters in this movie, of course, right? So I'm going to just write cast here, and so that we can see the entire cast here, okay, or at least most of the cast, okay? So we all know that, or should know that, Matt Damon was the main character, Odysseus, right? And we have Anne Hathaway as Odysseus' wife, right? In my personal opinion, I think the person who stole the movie just, I don't know, had the biggest impact on the movie, from acting to influence to how they made the audience feel. Honestly, Anne Hathaway's character. Okay, everyone did a great job in this movie. Anne Hathaway's character, I think she stole the movie, in my honest opinion. I was very content with her and her character in this movie. Okay. A person that I think was underused in this movie now, okay, I would have to go with Benny's character, who was Agamemnon. Okay. And for those who don't know who Agamemnon is basically the guy with the spinal cord on his neck, right? The very cool looking guy. Okay, this guy right here. So that is Agamemnon. I think that the movie might have benefited more of his character. He wasn't in the movie for much. He didn't have much lines in the movie either. Okay, I think his character was a bit underused. I would definitely love to see an adaptation, probably in the future, of him. That would be very cool. But in this specific movie, I feel like if his character was in it a bit more and it was, I don't know, tied into the story a bit more, that would have been cool. But in this movie, again, this is a spoiler review. Like, most of his scenes were just him being present, which is very cool. Those were very epic shots of him. He kind of owns the scene without talking. You know what I mean? And that's pretty badass. But I would have wanted him to have more scenes and to be in the story a little bit more. You know what I mean? So there's Agamemnon's character. Okay. Like I said before, the pacing, I really like the pacing of this movie. It didn't really feel like a 3-hour film to me. Probably felt like a 2-hour film to me, so that's a good sign. With Oppenheimer's movie, which was Nolan's last film before the Odyssey, I wanted to like that movie a lot, but I just didn't. To me, it was a bit too slow. There was too much dialogue, and I felt almost every minute of that movie. Okay, but with the Odyssey, I had much more fun, personally. Even though I have a very heavy science background and not much of a history background, I ended up liking the history movie, or the mythological movie, more than the science movie, which was Oppenheimer, right? So this is just me being completely honest, and I'm surprised as well. You know what I mean? So let's now talk about some themes behind this movie, okay? Upon my second viewing of this movie, I wanted to understand some things more, okay? We all know it's like a coming back home story, right? Odysseus is lost. He went to war, then he was lost, and then he was trying to get his way back home, right? And I like how that simple story of just trying to get back home, right, Nolan added themes into the movie which made the film feel more memorable, and he added more emotion into it. Okay? So, I want to talk about the Trojan horse. When I first watched the movie, okay? When I watched the movie for the first time, obviously like some things just go in one ear and out the other, right? And I don't process everything on the first view. That's how I am. Honestly, some people watch a movie for the first time and get like understand everything. I wish I was like that. I'm not, unfortunately. So upon my first viewing of the movie, the Trojan horse, right? That was definitely had some scenes in the movie, but I couldn't really find a meaning behind the Trojan horse and the storyline, if that makes sense. Once the movie finished, right? Once the movie finished and I had time to think about the movie, I noticed that, hold on a second, the Trojan horse, if you think about it, right? It's basically a gift in disguise, right? It was supposed to be a gift, kind of a sign to end the war, but inside were actually people, which came out and pretty much massacred, right, the city, and opened the gates to let their men in because the walls were impenetrable, right? When I saw the movie the second time, right, now I saw what was coming, I could listen to the dialogue better and try to connect things more together, right? I connected, and I'm sure other people have realized this, but the Trojan horse and Zeus's law in the movie have I believe, a very powerful connection in the film. Okay. So Zeus's law in the movie, as said, is almost like this treat thy neighbor as thyself kind of thing, right? Give them hospitality, be respectful, give them food if they need food. Basically, you see a stranger, you take care of them, right? So that was basically like Zeus's law in the movie. Now, why does that connect to the Trojan horse? And why is this so meaningful? Well, Odysseus, right? Odysseus was a strong believer in Zeus's law. He would want to take care of strangers, provide them with hospitality, food, give them food, water if they need, if they're hurt, help them, and stuff like that. But then when you see the movie, I believe that Odysseus actually believes that he did the ultimate betrayal of Zeus's law. How did he do the ultimate betrayal, right? Well, in the movie, you see flashbacks, okay, to the battle of Troy, where he was in the battle, he was in the Trojan horse, right? Then he came out of the horse, and everyone was coming out, slashing people all over the place, right? In those flashback moments, those are very crucial moments, and I believe Nolan put those in the movie intentionally, okay? And I believe what Nolan was trying to portray to the audience is that Odysseus has this great guilt inside of him, okay? And that guilt comes from Odysseus has created this Trojan horse. It was his idea, right? And that idea, which was to present itself as a gift to the enemy, to the opponents, right? They accepted that gift, but then that gift turned completely upside down once they realized that it was not a gift. There were actually people hiding inside, and they were planning to, eliminate all of us and take over the city at the end, right? And so when Odysseus was in battle and then came out the horse and started eliminating people in the city left and right, I believe that that's when it started to hit him, when he was kind of thinking to himself, what have I done? Which kind of connects to Nolan's previous movie, Oppenheimer. It has a similar connection, doesn't it? Because Oppenheimer created the nuclear bomb, right? And in the same way, he kind of went, what have I done? Oppenheimer also felt this great guilt from producing the bomb. And now in this movie, it actually is similar to Oppenheimer, in which Odysseus came up with the Trojan horse. Odysseus has this very intelligent character where he might not be the strongest person, he might not be the fastest person, but he's definitely very, very intelligent, and he uses his intelligence to get through lots of obstacles in the movie, whether it be a monster or some sort of a natural disaster, weather, God's trying to kill him, stuff like that, right? Odysseus also made the Trojan horse and went, what have I done here? And so I believe that Odysseus thinks that he did the ultimate betrayal of Zeus's law, and he is going to hold on to that probably for the rest of his life, even after the movie finished. Okay, so I found that very interesting, and it is so cool to connect those the Trojan horse to to Zeus's law thing, and also connecting the whole movie, the Odyssey, to Nolan's past movies like Oppenheimer, right? And it has that similar theme that's going, right? So that was one thing I really wanted to touch on. Back to Agamemnon's character, right? The character right here. So Agamemnon's character, upon the second viewing of the film, when I was listening to the dialogue more and understood what they were talking about and stuff, because I didn't have subtitles or closed captions in the movie. Sometimes it would be hard to hear what they're saying, but there was the part where Agamemnon and many others rose out of the grave, right, out of the dirt, and signifying, they were dead, and they're coming out of the grave to basically tell Odysseus some wisdom of some sort, right? And then I realized, hold on a second, Agamemnon died, because why else would he rise out of the dirt like that, right, and come? And then we realized, he actually didn't even die in battle. He died basically at home, where he thought he was completely safe, and his wife basically eliminated him for the things that Agamemnon did, right, which was to the daughter. He killed his own daughter, right? And I was like, okay, that's how he died. Okay, what does this have to do with the movie and stuff like that? And then we realized later on that his character, he tells Odysseus, to be careful when you go back home, because he went back home, okay, and he died from his own wife, right? So he tells Odysseus, be careful when you go back home, because it's been a long time, and the people that you once knew, they might not be the same when you get back. So he told Odysseus, when you go back, I recommend that you go in pretending to be a different person, okay? And see who's loyal to you and who's not. And then Odysseus accepts that, right? And goes and tries that. He acts like a beggar, has a cloak and everything over him, so he's very visible. And he goes back home. Once he makes his way back home, He tries to see how other people are like, right? How do they have they changed much and stuff like that? Who's loyal? Who's not loyal? Okay, found that very interesting too. There was the very popular Sirens, right? Sirens scene, right? Which is where, as it says here, right? We have these creature women who use these, as it says here, magical, beautiful singing to trap passing sailors, right? That scene was pretty cool in the movie. I really liked it. I liked how basically the sound drowns out. You don't actually hear the Sirens song. You hear the soundtrack of the movie, but not the actual Sirens song, right? And Nolan left that up to interpretation, right? And what I also heard is that the Sirens song, it could be different for every person, okay? Because it's as if the Sirens, you know, these women, I suppose bird hybrids or mermaid hybrids, they know exactly what you want, what you fear of, and they use that as in their song, right, to basically get you to come to them, and then they will eliminate you, right? I found that scene pretty moving, pretty good. I'm happy that they didn't just give it all away. Like, they left it to interpretation, to the audience. You know, what could the song be? What could they have heard, right? But there was a very, very powerful quote that I think Matt Damon's character, Odysseus, that he said what the song was like. I don't remember the quote off the top of my head right now, but it was a very beautiful and deep quote, and it's like one of those quotes where you need to read it through a few times to really grasp the essence of the whole topic, right? I think I wanted to say something else about this the siren scene, but I don't remember it right now. That's fine. Okay. So I am just scrolling through my notes here. Trying to see here, is there anything else that I want to talk about, right? Oh, another thing about the siren scene is I really like how Odysseus is, he doesn't act like he can just survive anything. Like when they pass through the sirens, right? Odysseus doesn't really say like, oh, I'm strong enough, like I can handle this, like I don't need to be tied down, I trust myself, or I'm strong enough to like hold back on the siren song, right? He's not like that, and I really like that about his character. He actually is the opposite, and he's like, I don't know if I trust myself, or like I don't trust the person that I'll become when I hear the sirens, so I want you guys to tie me down, but I do want to listen to the sirens because I want to be the first, to listen to it and get through it. And he obviously does, and he looks like he suffers greatly, and he goes through lots of emotions. Again, very good acting, very powerful scene. I really liked it, and that's the siren scene that I wanted to talk about, which was pretty deep and interesting. So, I believe that is all of the main things I wanted to talk about. Okay. Oh yes, one more thing. So the blonde woman on the island, right? That cuts to Odysseus and that blonde woman on the island, right? Calypso, I think, is her name. So on my first viewing, I just was confused. I was like, who is this woman, right? Is she good? Is she bad? Like, what is this island? Is she a siren, or one of those women creatures, I guess? Like what is she, right? What's going on? And upon the second viewing, now that I knew what the movie was about and everything, I saw how the purpose of her, right, in the movie specifically, was that I kind of see her as comfort or a place of heaven. Okay, because she really took care of Odysseus when Odysseus landed on that island unconscious and was in need of help and everything. She took care of him. There was a scene where she said, like, we have like all the food we need is on this island, right? She wants him to stay on the island, right? The island was pretty much safe, right? You can be comfortable on the island. So I really saw that this woman and the island, they represented comfort, right? Even though they had comfort there, Odysseus was like, in his head, do I want to choose this life where it's just comfort and I have everything I need here, right? Or do I want to go back home, right? Which home could be completely different at this point because so many years have passed. People think he's dead. People could have betrayed him and whatnot, right? So it's up to him. He's kind of like, I still want to go home, I want to leave this paradise, which was the island and the woman, right? And I want to risk it, and I want to go back home. So that's the life that he truly wanted, and he goes for it, right? He had this very, very unstable and small raft, and he just laid on it, went to the shore, and just kind of let fate take him to home, right? And he took that risk, and he did get home. And at the very end, once he went through the fight, the final battle, which was, by the way, very, very cool final sequence. I really liked the final sequence of the movie. He was back with his wife, and everything worked out for him, So I considered lots of things in this movie to give my rating for it, if you will. Okay? And my rating, so how my rating works is I have like an Excel file, and I have different categories, and then each category has like a weight percentage, and then I give a score, like from 1 to 10. 10 being a masterpiece, and 1 being like absolute garbage, right? So here are the categories that I wrote down that I wanted to rate. So there's the story and the plot, there's the characters and development, there's the acting performances, there's the cinematography, dialogue, pacing, creativity, emotional impact, memorability, and the personal resonance and enjoyment. Okay? So I'm considering lots of things. I'm not just rating the movie based on how well it was made, but also like how much did I enjoy it too. I'm adding that into the equation. Okay? After all of these categories and giving each of them a personal rating, okay, I will give the Odyssey a 7.9 out of 10. Okay? So that is my personal rating for the film. Honestly, I like I said before, I like the movie. I liked it more even a second time. Who knows when I'll watch it the third time. Probably not in theaters, but I think I'm probably going to watch it a third time when it comes out, you know, on digital and whatnot. So there's that. I hope you enjoyed this little analysis. Let me know if you agree or disagree with some of the things I said. And tell me what you would rate this movie, complete honest rating to this movie. And if you enjoy this, I can do more reviews or analysis in the future for other movies. So there's that. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, or morning, or night. And I will see you next time. Bye, everybody.